Serve your customers with a servant heart. Always, always, always be transparent and be honest and be loving and be kind. And even when you don't sell a car, walk your customers to their car, open the door and thank them for the opportunity and love on them and tell them that you're very sorry that you could not help them, but expect a call from you.
A-Flow is in the building. Automotive. Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, the #1 resource for automotive sales professionals, managers, and owners to learn how to make money, accumulate wealth, and to all out ball out in the auto industry. And now your hosts, Sean V. Bradley and L.A. Williams.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Automotive. Hey. Yes, what's going on, my people? L.A. Williams. I know sometimes y'all don't hear my voice. You always hear Mr. Sean V. Bradley, but I am here today, and I have with me, man, this daggone rock star. I actually met him officially on Clubhouse, but, man, this guy's an absolute rock star. I want y'all to hear from the one and only Mr. A-Flow, Alex Flores. What's going on, brother?
Man, what's up, LA, man? Just excited to be here, especially with you, man. It's just an honor, and thank you for taking the time to speak to me this morning, and we're just man, blessed, extremely blessed.
100%, man. So this is real cool. This has been like weeks in the making, probably even months. When I first connected with you, I'm like, yo, man, I gotta have you on a podcast because just your conversation is always about winning on a huge level. I mean, you're just a daggone rock star. So before we even get into all of those details, tell the people who you are, because you're not just like some, motivational speaker or anything like that. You're actually the automotive industry. Tell the people who you are.
Yes, absolutely, LA. I am definitely, I do a lot of speaking like you mentioned, but I'm a car guy. I'm literally at the dealership every single day. In fact, I'm at the dealership right now. I'm the dealer principal and owner of Seguin Chevrolet, which is about 45 minutes outside of San Antonio.
Okay.
We purchased this dealership back in 2019. This dealership was selling about 50 cars a month, and we are now selling 500 cars a month. And
wow.
Just in a year and a half, we turned this place around and went from 50 cars to 500 cars a month, becoming the #1 Chevy dealer in San Antonio. And I'm gonna tell you, that's a competitive market, a huge market,
yeah.
A competitive market, and we're winning out here in the middle of nowhere, right next to 33 acres of cornfields. And also, I'm also the owner of Bravo Chevrolet Cadillac in Las Cruces, New Mexico, a dealership that I acquired early this year. Along with a Cadillac dealership in El Paso. And those two dealerships combined, the Bravo Group, we're selling about 100 cars a month combined on a good month. Yeah. And we're now selling 400 cars a month in just 3 months.
Wow.
We turned that around. But how I made my name, LA, is at Capital Chevrolet in Charlesmont. Capital Chevrolet came in there when they were selling about 200 cars a month on an average. And we turned it around and got it all the way up to 800 cars a month in a matter of 3 years. And became the #1 Chevy dealer in Texas. And before that, I was at a Toyota ship selling about 250, and we went to 1,000 cars a month. So I'm a big volume guy, man. I'm a big go-getter. I don't like to make excuses. I'm a big accountability mindset and culture guy. So that's me, man. I'm a car guy. I've been doing this for 28 years. It's been an amazing career. It's been an amazing journey. It hasn't always been easy for me. It hasn't always been, a smooth ride. But I mean, that's what I like about it, that every day is a new challenge. Every day is it's a way to remind me that nothing in my life has been easy, and humbles me every single day to just be reminded that, hey, Alex, you haven't arrived yet. You're not all that in a bag of chips. You need to just humble up, guy, and go out there and get back to the basics and lead by example.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know, man. I know you all that in a bag of something. It might be, floor mats or something like that, but you are a daggone rock star. He said 28
What's up,
years
Sean?
in the industry. That's what I was getting ready to say. So right now, you said 28 years in the industry. Y'all messed up my whole intro, but it's all good. Mr. Sean V. Bradley has just clicked onto the Zoom. That was the little bell you heard. Over 22 years in the industry. And, man, this guy's a rock star, too, as you guys know, Mr. Sean V. Bradley. What's going on, Sean?
Yo, what's up, man? Listen, I've been looking forward to this interview right here. Alex is a G.
I ain't gonna miss it for the world.
No. COVID ain't gonna stop me.
That's it. Not that you got it. Tell the people really what's
No.
going on.
So the family's sick. So wifey and the kids are a little under the weather. So the little one tested negative for COVID. So we had to just go to the to the spot to see if Karina is.
Just making sure everybody's good. That's all. All right.
No, but listen, I feel like I'm underdressed. Ellie, you don't even know. He's got his sunglasses on. He looks fresh to death right now. He looks about about $1.2 billion worth of freshness right there.
That's A-Flow for you, baby. That's how you do it. So he was telling us a little bit, Sean, right before you popped on about just, he said even in the month of May, today is, we're actually recording this June 1st, 2021. And in the month of May, his dealership did, you said right at 500 cars?
This particular one, Seguin Chevrolet, we did 500 cars, and my other two did 368. So we did almost 900 cars between three little dealerships, and we really are little in the middle of nowhere.
I'm telling you, that's
so. I got one question for you. So are you just printing money right now? Or are you just printing it like you got is it do you have barrels of it that is buried in the backyard? Like, where are you able to put all that much
It's a
paper?
money field.
It's a money field, right?
Yeah, we got a cornfield next to us, 33 acres, man.
So,
man, that's crazy. All right, Ella, jump back in. Do your thing.
So, because all of this is great and all of that, but I kind of want to know, where did the story begin, right? We know it's still unfolding. You got so many things going on, but how did you even get introduced 28 years ago into the automotive industry?
LA, it's a funny story. I used to be a waiter. Well, first of all, I came to the States as an immigrant back in 1985, and I came to the States because of an earthquake that happened in Mexico City. And so we were forced to move. And I came to the States not knowing English. And I actually taught myself how to speak English watching The Price is Right and The Young and the Restless every single day. Wow. And that's crazy, but I really, really did. And it's a crazy story, but I did it for a whole summer. And I just kind of learned how to say, numbers and prices, and of course Jack was a ladies man, you know what I'm saying? And on The Young and the Restless. But yeah, I just learned how to speak English, and then I had all these odd jobs, and I was a carpet cleaner. In fact, one of my employees right now, I used to clean carpets with his uncle over 30 years ago at a hotel. Me and him he's from El Salvador, and him and his uncle, me and his uncle used to clean. They used to give us 4 rooms per day, and we had to go in there and clean those carpets and get them done. And I'd be like, okay, man, let's get them done before lunchtime. Be like, what? Let's take our time, man. I was like, no, let's get them done before lunchtime. They'll give us more rooms. And sure enough, they did. And I ended up getting promoted. But all my life, man, I've always been about, if you're going to do something, do the best you can. Do it to impress, and just never do anything half-ass.
Right.
Always do it with a servant heart, with a great attitude, and that's who I am, LA. I mean, I've always been. I've had like most of you, I'm sure. I had a really rough upbringing. I had abusive, parents, abusive childhood. Unfortunately, very, very sad upbringing. But I had to just one day realize, hey, I can either sit here and speak victimese, or I can sit here and just make the best of it and just become a freaking warrior.
I like that.
And that's what I did, man. And I just didn't care. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna be grateful, have a great attitude. And so anyway, so I ended up after all these jobs I had, I ended up being a waiter. And I was a waiter at a restaurant called Lone Star Cafe. And we used to have, I don't know if you know what a chicken fried steak is. That's a Texas thing. And we had chicken fried steak night on Monday nights. And I had a gentleman that would come in there, a big Italian guy that would come in every Monday night. He was my regular guy. And I know he listens to his podcast. He's like, Alex, man, I hate the story. You tell it all the time. But he was a regular of mine, and it was buy one, get one free, but he would get 2 for himself, and he would almost finish them all, and he would always leave a little piece. And he's like, Alex, I can't do it, man. I thought I could, but I didn't. I couldn't. And I would say, Dave, I know you got some room for dessert. And he'd be like, no, man, no way. Are you crazy? And I was like, I know you do, Dave. He's like, no, Alex, no. I said, I'll tell you what. I'm going to put it on a to-go box because I know you got some really good metabolism. And I know in an hour you're going to be hungry again. And you're going to eat it. And you're going to thank me for it when you're sitting there watching TV with your beautiful wife. And I said, but if you don't eat it, just remember next time you come in and I'll refund you for this dessert. And he'd be like, all right, let me take it. So anyway, one day he just said, man, you're wasting your talent. You're probably one of the best salespeople I've met in my life. You need to come work for me. And he gave me his business card. And on his business card, it had Toyota, GMC, Oldsmobile, Honda. And I was like, okay, well, I don't even know what brand it is, but I put it in my wallet for a few months. I can't remember exactly the time frame on that. But then one day my manager made me mad. And I just threw the apron at him and said, you know what? I'm out of here. And with ranch on my pants and with gravy on my shirt, I just walked next door because the restaurant was actually next door to the dealership. So I could literally walk over there. So I walked over there and I said, hey, I'm here to see Dave Tamburo. And I didn't even know this, but he was the owner.
Wow.
This bodyguard guy came out, like big Italian guy, said, who are you with a big $3,000 suit on? He's like, what's your name? And I said, just go get Dave, man. Trust me. And Dave came out and he's like, Alex, he was so excited to see me. And the next day I was selling cars, man.
That is crazy. That's a crazy story. And first of all, I love the line "victime." That was crazy. Like that, so many people speak that language. But I'm glad that was never a part of your system. So you were selling cars, man. So when you started selling cars, break it down to us. How many cars did you sell? Like,
well, initially, you know, I wasn't like right away killing it because I was actually still doing some military drilling on the weekends.
Okay.
So that was kind of, I would miss a Saturday every month. So I would sell about 15, 18 a month in the 3 weeks. And I was always still a newbie, still kind of learning the game, still learning the game. But in 1999, that's when my career shifted. Because believe it or not, I got to give credit where credit's due. Out of my pocket, well, I had this guy come in my dealership. I was working at a Chevy dealership. And this guy came in. This is the fanciest dressed guy I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, who is this guy? He had slick hair, combed back, and he looked like $1 million, and he looked Italian. And something about Italians, man, that I like, the shoes, the suits, and everything. So I ran out there, and I was like, hey, what's your name? He told me, yo, my name is Grant. And I was like, oh, yeah, who are you here to see? He's like, I'm here to see you, GM. And I was like, wow. So I saw him go in the GM's office, and he came out, and then they called us in there, and they said, hey, this guy here says he's the best things to slice bread, but we're not gonna really spend that kind of money. But if you want to go see this guy, he's gonna be in San Antonio at this hotel. It's gonna cost you $800 out of your pocket. So if you want to pay for it, you can go see this guy. He says he's a car sales trainer. And so I paid, and I went and saw him. And after that, man, I blew up. I was already inspired. I was already motivated. I just needed the roadmap, and he gave me a really good roadmap. And I learned that along with the process that I already knew that I lived by, a process that to this day I still use, by the way, that I learned from Dave, the guy that hired me from the chicken fried steak place. He taught me these things that to this day, I follow his process for the most part. And with Uncle G showing me these things, man, I came back to the store and I was selling, you know, at the time for us, it was big time back then. I was selling 35, 36 cars a month, and I did it in 3 weeks. I would take the last week of the month off. I would not work the last week of the month because my bonus is stopped at 36. So I would tell the owner, until you change the pay plan, I'm going to take the last week of the month off. And he wouldn't change the pay plan. So I was like, all right, no problem. So I would sell 36 in 3 weeks and take the last week of the month off. And I was the top guy. Fire. Everybody else was selling 8, 10 cars. So there you go.
Right? And the average car salesman still only sells 9.6 units a month. So that's freaking crazy for you to, first of all, as a new person selling 15 to 18, and then you go get trained and you basically double that number. That's fire. So tell us, like, because this is the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. So we like talking about money. Okay. So just tell us from being a waiter or whatever jobs you were doing before that, and then being a new person selling 15 to 18 cars a month. What was that income lift like for you?
Oh man, it was mind blowing. And, you know, of course I did all the rookie mistakes. I think my first paycheck, I went and got me a Shar-Pei dog and new wheels on my car. I mean, I was like, man, this is big. You know, I've never had that kind of money in my life. And so definitely was life changing. But, you know, as I started selling more and more cars, I had some good mentorship with people showing me like what to do with my money and how to be smart with it. And I always would look up to the eagles. I didn't pay attention to the pigeons. So I pay attention to the eagles, the people that I saw. I like the way they carry themselves, the way they communicate. You know, I would see people like that customers would come in asking for them all the time. So I would always go in and say, hey, let me pick your brain. And there was a specific guy, his name was Doug Cathy. And I don't even think he's in the car business anymore, but he was big into the stock market. And he was very humble and saving money, but he was really good. So I was like, Doug, you got to show me how to do these things. And then with my personality and my energy and with the wisdom that I learned from him, I was able to save a lot of money at a very early stage in my career. And that's honestly, that's how I was able to be a dealer, because I've been saving money since I was, 20 years, man. So I've been
Wow.
really smart. I've always lived beyond my means. Now I'm enjoying life, and, being that I'm almost 50 years old, I feel like, okay, now I worked my way up to this and I've saved for many years. I put in the time.
Yo, what are you, a vampire? You said almost 50 years. You look like you're 30 years old, dude. Like, what are you talking about here? Yeah,
yes, sorry.
That's that money right there. That money be getting you. You have a cryogenic chamber or something like that, like Michael Jackson? So let's go back to the money thing for a second. So when you were selling 36 cars, approximately how much were you generating like a month?
Yeah, that's a good question, Sean.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
At the very first Dealer eProcess keynote, Gino Ciparroni and Sam Vukas introduced new tools and strategy to drive conversion, new designs to increase customer engagement, and new technologies to dominate the competition. Visit dealereprocess.com/keynote to watch and see what's new in 2021.
Sean, we didn't have the best pay plan, to be honest. We had a cap on commission, but I was still doing $12,000 to $14,000 a month. And, back in the 90s, that was really good money.
Yes.
And,
that's good money today.
I was 28 years old, 29.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, especially for somebody that learned how to speak English from friggin' The Price is Right. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like that's amazing. So how long were you stacking dough before you decided to buy an investment? Was the first thing that you did a dealership, or did you buy like real estate or something like that? Like what were your good investments that you did buy?
Real estate.
Real
yes,
estate.
I definitely. Yes. So I bought my first home. And then I started buying another home, and I started buying duplexes and townhomes. And I didn't do a lot of them. I don't want to make it sound like I had all this, but I had a few, and I made money on each one of them. And I just kept saving and saving. And man, I tell you, the office lady used to get mad at me when I sold cars, Sean, because they actually used to give us paychecks back then. And I would have 15 paychecks from 15 months ago just in my wallet that I wouldn't cash. Because I was always, I never wanted to be living paycheck to paycheck, because I knew what it was to be homeless. I knew what it was to be hungry, and I never wanted to go hungry again in my life. And I grew up, selling cassettes in the streets of Mexico City. So to me, it was so important to stack and stack and stack and stack, and just be able to never have to worry about money again, never have to worry about having a place to live or being able to eat.
So let's transition this. So this is absolutely amazing. How old were you when you got the opportunity to become a dealer, to own either part or whole of a dealership? How old were you?
Not too long ago, man. That was about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Actually, the journey started about almost 4 years ago, because what happened was, as I went to, I became a general manager. Finally, I worked really hard for that. And about 5-6 years ago, I became a general manager at a big dealership in Austin, Texas. After proving myself at many dealerships. And it took me a long time, Sean. I see some of these young cats, they become GSMs after 3 years in the car business. Yeah. And that wasn't the case for me. That was not the case for me. In fact, it was always harder for me. I felt like I had to work harder. And even though I almost felt like I was in a disadvantage, so I had to make it so like there is no question that Alex is the one.
Right.
So it had to be clear. And I sold cars for a long time, eight years almost. I was a manager for a long time, almost over a decade. And finally I got my shot at, sales director. And then I became a GSM. And then as a GSM, I was doing the GM's job and the GSM job. I finally got a GM at Capital Chevrolet. And that's when I took that dealership from 150, 180 cars a month to almost 800 cars a month. And General Motors said, Alex, we've never seen this type of growth. We've never seen this type of RSI turnaround. And you became the number one in Texas from a store that was number 4 or 5 in the city of Austin. And now you're the number one in Texas. You're beating the big dogs. You're beating those grapevine boys over there that have been number one for 20 years. And so they came to me and they said, we want to make you a dealer. And I was blessed to have, at the time, a good owner that gave me the blessing and said, okay, Alex, go ahead. We bless you with it. And I had to go through a lot of interviews, a lot of training, a lot of preparing. I had to get all my, my money in place, and so much background checks and so many things they had to do to be able to. It's not easy to become a dealer. It's actually extremely difficult.
Wait a minute. It's not easy to become a dealer, period. But to be a minority dealer is even more ridiculous because, I'm friends with Damon Lester, the president of the Minority Dealer Association. And I think it's like literally like 6% of all ownership is minority. That's it. There's not much. So let's talk about that being a minority, because I have heard you say this in Clubhouse before, that you had people naysaying and speaking about, oh, you're not going to make it because you can't understand you and you have an accent and all this stuff. What type of bullshit did you have to go through, having an accent and being a minority in this industry, honestly?
That's a good question.
Well, unfortunately, not being from this country and having an accent like you mentioned, I did have a lot of people, discouraging me, a lot of jealousy, a lot of like, well, you're not even from here, and I just had to overcome that. And honestly, I did it with kindness, man. I did it with love. I did it with compassion. I didn't do it with, hey, I'm going to fight you back and I'm going to show you how it's done. And I just did it like, hey, man, let me help you out. Let me do my thing. Let me worry about what I got to do and just earn your respect by showing you that I'm the real deal.
That's character right there. That's character. Is that something that you just learned? Because most of us, even myself, as calm and stuff like that as I am now. I'm from North Philly, so I don't know if I would have been able to do that. So calm. How'd you learn how to kind of keep your cool?
LA, I've done it both ways, and I know that the route of taking the godly way, man, it's always worked best for me, and God has been extremely good to me. So I have to, sometimes it's not easy to do, but it's always the best route to take, and it's always worked best for me, man. And honestly, like I always find myself, more at peace to know that regardless of what anybody does or says, at least I know I'm doing the right thing. At least I'm taking the high road. And it's crazy because the more hate I get, the more blessings I get from God. So it's good, man. I have no problem with that.
That's fire.
It is absolutely fire. You are living the American dream, the fantasy that a lot of people hold. And I say fantasy because most people don't achieve the level of success that you have, Alex. Obviously, whether they're born here or not, doesn't matter. That's period. Even going to Harvard and Yale, for you to be able to do what you do is very, very inspirational. I mean, there's so many car people that, how it is when you're selling cars, like, man, one day I would love to own my own dealership, but people don't realize what that means. Like people say, I want to be a football star, but they don't understand what it takes to be an NFL athlete. They don't understand what it takes to be a dealer principal. So can you share, some of the realities of what it takes to own one dealership or multiple dealerships as far as paperwork, insurance, liability, responsibility? What is that like, the amount of pressure on you with all these families that you're responsible for?
Oh man, I can't even, man. I don't even know where to start, Sean, because it's not as glorious as you think it is, but it's definitely rewarding. And it is a huge blessing. And you're right. I am definitely living the American dream. And I am so grateful for this country. I'm so grateful for the people that this country has. Because even though there's a lot of haters, there's a lot of people out there who are willing to help a guy like me, who are willing to help a young man from Mexico City who has a great attitude, who really wants to win. And there's so many people out there who've been blessed and are willing to help. And I try to pay that back now to people. I try to see people that remind me of me, that I know have the same drive and the same ambition and the same dreams that I had at one day. And I try to help those people out by lifting them up. I don't care how heavy they are. I'm going to say, hey man, I'm going to work with you. But to answer your question, Sean, it's a lot, man. And I had to, for the longest time and to this day, wake up at 4 a.m. every single day, man, and learn. I had to literally put myself through an accounting degree and an HR degree and business management degree. And I had to read so much and learn so much and look at reports and learn how to read the reports and learn how to read the financials and learn about people and personalities and training and how to get people motivated and customer service and service department. Man, when I first became a GM, I had no clue about fixed ops. I had no clue, but I went inside in the service department every single morning. I would show up there at 6 a.m. and I was there training with the advisors and talking to customers and talking to technicians and learning about effective labor rate and learning about flagged hours and about efficiency and productivity and all these things and keeping the flow in the shop. And man, I literally had to, everything that I'm ever faced, I just know, okay, here's my new challenge. I got to learn it and I got to master it. And that's how I've always been. So it's something that most people don't want to do. Most people think it's just going to come and that's it. It came and you're good. It's just like you, Sean. I mean, you in LA have been really successful, and you, Sean, with your business and what you guys do. But it's not just something that comes and that's it. It's done. You're good. You have to keep going at it, chipping at it and working on it and figuring out. You're going to face obstacles and challenges. And it's always about growing. It's always about growing. Hey, I'm going to go through it. It's not easy, but I'm going to grow through it. And next year we're going to be better. And next year we're going to be better. And not so much money wise, which I think money is the byproduct. Right. The goal is to be better. Money will come.
Yo, Alex, you know what's interesting too is, because I agree with everything you said, but I want to stress on one thing here. Is that the responsibility, they call it the burden of command. You know what I mean? Like, you as the dealer have a lot of decisions you got to make. And it's not just about profitability, especially someone that has the servant leadership mindset. Every decision you make is going to affect your team and their family and their kids. And when you're navigating through a pandemic, when you're navigating through COVID, when you're navigating through an inventory crisis or something like that, it's just a crazy amount of pressure. Do you believe that your military training, your military background has helped you be a better leader?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, Tim Cox from CarNow, and we would love the privilege and honor to be able to partner with you, our dealer partner, and show you why we continue to be the most awarded communication and digital retailing platform in automotive. What's the buzz about? We'd love to show you why. Please click the link below and let's partner together.
Man, you beat me to it, Sean. As you were talking about it, I was like, well, that's military training. As far as, the one thing they treat you in the military, number one, I always tell my wife this, the first thing one of the first things they teach you in the military is how to treat shock. In other words, somebody gets shot, somebody's leg gets blown off and or something like that. The first thing you have to do is to go and say, hey, you're going to be okay. You apply a tourniquet, you inject them with what's that thing we inject them with, Colby?
You talking about morphine?
Morphine. There you go. And you do what you got to do, okay? But the most important thing is to let them know that it's going to be okay, that somebody's coming, that there's help on the way, that it's going to be fine. And even if you see them and maybe they're not going to be okay. Maybe hey, there's no way, but you never let them know. So that's one thing I learned in the military that forever, no matter what's going on, a pandemic, there's no cars. We have a bad culture in the store. There's managers leaving to other stores. People are talking about it. I mean, I never let anybody know that it's not going to be okay. It's always going to be okay. Me as the leader, I'm driving this plane, so I got to make sure that I don't let them know that the plane is going down. We're going to be okay, guys. We're going to be okay because I'm in charge. And I think building the confidence that your team has on you, that's so important, man. To them know that no matter what, if I'm with A-Flow as my leader, he's never gonna fold. He's gonna get through it. And they've seen me, Sean, in LA go through some hard things. They've seen me, another dealer steal all my managers and maybe like, what am I gonna do? I mean, I'm talking like taking 19 managers in a span of 1 month because they know I train them. They know my guys know what to do, and they come in, they offer everybody double the money just to steal them from me, just to take me down, and it didn't work. I replaced every one of them with even better managers. We sold more cars, and it's just a blessing. And I'm not saying that's why, but my point is, it's always remaining calm, always letting your team know it's going to be okay, and also always looking out for your troops, and not just by giving them stuff, by showing them stuff and holding them accountable. I'm big on that. I'm big on if I can't just love on you all the time and hug you when you're not doing a good job. My guys that work for me, the ones that can survive working for me, and a lot of them do, and a lot of them have been with me for a long time, are the real deal, because these are guys that know Alex is going to be hard on me. He's going to push me. He's going to call me out when I'm not doing my job. But I love that. I love that because I know I become a better person, a better human being, a better parent, a better husband. And I can't BS Alex because he'll call me out and say, no. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. And it makes them better.
I love that, man. The king of accountability. And then to me, that's one of the major things that, most businesses across America, but definitely car dealerships, experiences a lack of accountability. We say all the time is, where in the world is your job description a suggestion? You know what I'm saying? And not a requirement. But unfortunately, that's, what our industry is faced with. So, just talk about that, because you made money as a salesperson, you made money as a manager, and it sounds like, one of your secrets to making sure that people succeed, financially included, is that accountability. Do you have any specific keys? I mean, break that down to us.
Yeah, man, it's all about, it's what you don't know, you don't know. And I have right here, the A-Flow report right here. And we look at everything. I look at everything every single day. I got 3 of my stores right here, and I can tell you hours per RO. I can tell you what are we running per copy on the front, what are we running per copy on the back. Every single day I send a text out to every manager where I tell them, this is how many deals you got for the month, this is what you're running per copy on the front, this is what you're running per copy on the back, this is what you're tracking, this is what we're tracking as a store. And it's just an everyday thing. And even though they can go and look at these numbers, I send it to them every day to let them know, hey, I'm watching to it, and I'm looking at it. I'm paying attention to it. And not only that, but I don't just tell them because, I don't want to just run reports, because that's not going to do anything. I run reports. I look at them. I hold people accountable, but I also give them a plan. I said, listen, this number right here, our closing percentage in the internet, it's dropping. What's going on? Let's look at the leads from yesterday. How do we respond to these leads? Did we send a video? Did we send a text? And it's just going behind people, which I think, honestly, when a team is not doing what they're supposed to do, and they're not following, I guess, instructions, or they're not doing their job, honestly, I don't put it on the salespeople. I don't put it on the team. I put it on the leadership, because that's the leadership's responsibility. We get paid to be managers. We get paid to manage our team. And if we're not doing that, then that's shame on us. Shame on us, because Bill Belichick gets paid a lot of money to coach. And if he's not coaching and expecting what he expects, guess what? Team's not going to win.
And he ain't going to have a job too much longer.
Amen. Amen.
So let's transition this, because again, I'm sure you have a ton of things on your plate, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this interview. I have always heard in my 22 years in the industry, Alex, that car sales is like owning your own business. Yet most people don't teach entrepreneurship. In my humble opinion, the road to the sale and product knowledge isn't an entrepreneur. I believe that to be successful in 2021 going into 2022, you need baseline stuff like product knowledge certification, road to the sale, but you need to be trained in entrepreneurship and time maximization, in communications, in internet, and branding and PR. You've got to be able to be diversified if you want your salespeople to do more, be more, and achieve more. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely, man. And honestly, Sean, we do have a very strong process that we train on, but a lot of our trainings, but by the way, training is a big thing for me. And it's a huge part of my success. We do it twice a week. How many owners listening right now do you know, Sean, in LA, that the owner will train every one of his salespeople and managers for 2 hours twice a week? Wow. 2 hours. 2 hours mandatory. Not, hey, do you want to be there? Can you make it? Is it your early day? Is it your late day? Mandatory 4 hours a week. They're getting A-Flow training. And it's not just about pushing to a worksheet, coaching an offer, capturing missing party. No. It's also about mindset. It's also about, like you talked about, customer relations. It's also about branding, about prospecting, about building your business, creating dream customers that are going to send you customer after customer after customer, doing videos and digital and internet. I mean, everything we train. And then we train about character and how to be transparent and be honest. And man, so I always tell people, look, you can go sell cars anywhere. I mean, anybody's going to hire you. That's the truth, especially right now. And at any point, the car business has always been like that. Mm-hmm. Hey, you're hired. Can you start tomorrow? But the thing with us, when you come to work for Alex, you can guarantee you're going to grow and you're going to develop. You will not be the same. You can come as you are, but you will not leave the way you came.
Alex, but how many people really understand, even your team, and this would be very transparent here, is that if it was me and I worked for somebody that came from a different country, who taught himself English, who became a multi-millionaire success story of a dealer group that gave me personal training, that would be one of the main things I look forward to, is to just soak up as much fucking Alex time as possible. So do you have people that are really honestly appreciative of you personally mentoring them, or do some people, they don't realize how special that is because they're not there mental wise?
100% yes, Sean. I mean, people do value, appreciate it, and I
love
can't tell you how many times they tell me, man, you changed my life, Alex. And to me, the most rewarding thing, Sean, in LA, is when they send me a text and they say, my relationship with my wife is better. I'm a better parent now. Yeah. I'm more involved in the community, Alex, because of what you said. I'm starting to go to church. I'm starting to read my Bible now, and I feel like a different person. And when that internal work happens, that exterior work transforms. That's why I always talk about Romans 12:2, do not be conformed by the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I preach. It's in the back of my business card, and I talk to these kids about it all the time. And I'm on a mission to shift people's mindset, and especially people in my team. Man, I talk to everyone all the time. I'm not that dealer that just goes by and just goes straight to the GM's office. No, man, I'm going to stop and talk. I can tell you every one of my employees' names. I can tell you, what do they do? What do they like? What are they into? And I have so many employees, but I have this relationship, this connection with them because I believe in that, because I used to be that guy. I used to be them. So I see myself in them, and I want to be able to have that connection with them. It's so important to me.
Nice.
Let's bring that up right here, because there's a lot, like you've mentioned faith in God numerous times. And what I can tell you is that there's some people in the automotive industry that talk about God. And I've had experiences with people that have given me Bibles and then stabbed me in the back, And so it's really refreshing because I feel you to be genuine. I feel you to be authentic, and your reputation, it goes hand in hand with what you're saying. So how do you feel about having faith in the automotive industry and being, just selling cars? Because there's such a negative stigma about car sales, but you don't drip that old school, perception or stereotype. You are a whole new type of a leader. So how does your faith play into that? And how do you see your, just faith in general in business?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Don't be the last one with your hand up at the auction. VinQ Vehicle Buying Center gives dealers the digital and in-store tools you need to buy direct from the public. On average, inventory bought from the public grosses $1,200 higher on the front end alone. VinQ turns buying cars direct from the public into a business. The most profitable dealerships in the country are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in additional front end gross. Private party acquisition starts with VinQ. See it at VinQ.com.
Man, I think that the Bible is the greatest sales book ever written in history, man. And I think it helps me. It gives me direction, and I use that wisdom that I get from the Word of God, and I carry it on to my teams, and I help them. And I say, you know what? Everything works for our good, guys. No weapon shall prosper. No weapon formed against you shall prosper us. Hey, God has a plan for us. We're going to get through this. And I've yet, and this desk is made out of wood. I've yet, in all the years that I've been doing this, I've yet had somebody come to me and say, hey, Alex, I'm offended. I'm very respectful, and I respect all religions, and I respect all beliefs, and I always make it clear. And after a while, I don't have to keep saying it because people already know. Mm-hmm. Hey, I work for A-Flow, and he's going to read some scripture. And I just read scripture and say, hey, whether you read this or not, whether you believe this or not, is something that I read, is something that I believe in, but it makes perfect sense because any scripture that you take, it really applies to everybody's lives, mm-hmm. and it makes perfect sense. So I'm pretty bold about it, Sean. And I actually started a car church, which is a ministry that I had an idea. I said, man, I'm just going to quit talking about it and just being this talker. I'm going to take action. So I started a car church, and we're going into a 1 year of where all these car guys from all over the country, I have GMs, owners, GSMs, some salespeople, and we all meet every Wednesday morning at 6:45 a.m., and we read the Bible together on Zoom. And then we discuss, what does it tell us about God? What does it tell us about man? And how can we apply it into our dealerships? How can we become better leaders by having this mindset and this belief system? And it's made a huge difference, Sean.
That's absolutely inspiring and incredible, especially for our industry. So I appreciate you being bold, like you just said, because I think it's beautiful. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's transition this to some advice, okay? Because obviously you've solidified your subject matter expertise. You've articulated incredibly and inspiring your success. So let's break this down into roles. Give us some advice. And if you could do me a personal favor, brother, my daughter, Kalina, she's 20 years old. She just started selling cars. And if you were talking to her, because I'm going to make her listen to this too. So if she's listening, just say, hey, Kalina. So if you're going to talk to my daughter, Kalina, she just broke 20 cars on her second full month on the showroom floor, but she's still young. And I would love for you to speak to her directly, but everybody that's listening to this podcast, the hundreds of thousands of people that are going to listen to this, what advice do you have for somebody that's brand new to the industry that you could give them some words of encouragement and words of advice on how they should really take their career?
Excellent. Spell your daughter's name.
Kalina, Kalina.
Remember my English, my second language. So I have to ask people to spell it so I pronounce it right. Okay, perfect. I got you. All right. So Kalina, great job. 20 cars. That's pretty freaking amazing, man. It must be in your blood. I know your daddy's a good car guy. So, hey, listen, you are blessed to have those genes in you. However, here's my advice to you if you want to be extremely successful in this business. Always, always, always stay humble. And when I say humble, I mean coachable. When I say coachable, I mean willing to learn. When I say willing to learn, never think you know everything. Even if you're doing great, know that there's somebody out there that can teach you something new. Always respect your managers. Always listen to the desk. Don't fight the desk. Work with the desk. Serve your customers with a servant heart. Always, always, always be transparent and be honest and be loving and be kind. And even when you don't sell a car, walk your customers to their car, open the door and thank them for the opportunity and love on them and tell them that you're very sorry that you could not help them, but expect a call from you. Always, always follow up with every single customer. Send them a video. Send them a video even when you couldn't get them approved every single time. No matter where you go, it doesn't matter where you're at, what time it is. Let everybody know what you do for a living. Have business cards on you all the time. Let people know what you do and how good are you at it. Let them see the passion that you have in what you do, and you will be extremely, extremely successful. Ask for referrals every single time and ask people, how is your experience? Get testimonials, save your testimonials, make a video library on your phone and play it for your customers as you're getting the numbers. Follow the process. Don't ever, ever, ever not follow the process. Come in with an attitude of gratitude every single day. Have a positive, I got a lot, Sean, I'm sorry. Have an attitude of gratitude. Be positive all the time, no matter what. When you go get your numbers, play these videos for these customers and let them know these customers that love on you and show them and treat every customer like a millionaire. Unless they're a millionaire like me, then you treat them like a billionaire. Okay? Every single time. You got to treat everybody with the utmost respect. Don't ever do anything to jeopardize your reputation, ever. Don't do anything unethical, do anything immoral or anything illegal, ever. No matter who asks you, walk away, walk away. There's many dealerships out there. Work with people that want to make a difference. And you need to be somebody that can make a difference.
Powerful. Wow. Okay, now
I've never heard it so eloquently put, so succinctly.
And I gave you the short version, by the way. I got more.
She got to listen to you like your other interviews and clubhouse sessions because, man, that's fire. Yeah. So what about managers? Okay, so because you said something which is so true, is that like a manager has responsibility in managing their team, leading their team, mentoring their team, coaching their team. So what advice do you have for sales managers, GSMs, so for them? Give them some inspiration, some direction.
Can I be raw?
Yeah, old dirty style.
Okay. Stop being so fucking lazy. Get off your desk. Go out there and get in front of people. Stop being fancy. Put the sushi down. Put the tacos down. Okay? Do some damn follow-up. You're not following up with your customers. Call your customers. Pull up your CRM. Look at every single lead. Look at the responses. Make sure they're sending videos. Hold your people accountable. Stop trying to be their friend and be their boss. You're not a clown. Clowns are supposed to make them happy. You're their boss. You're supposed to make them better. And that's what you're supposed to do every single day. Get in front of customers. Talk to customers. Do an exit interview when your customers are leaving. Go out there and ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how is your experience overall? Because you know what? Because you truly care, not because somebody's making you do it. Because you want your team to get better, and you want to know what's the experience. The experience is a new best price, and health is a new wealth. So if you're not healthy and you're not having a good experience in your dealership, you're going to fail. Be aware. Never act like you arrived. Stop lying to yourself, telling yourself that you're doing everything and that your team is doing good when you're not doing good. Be honest with yourself. Be bold. Be raw. Don't keep lying to yourself, because that's the reason why you can't get to the next level. Listen to people. Know that you're not the best trainer. There's people out there that can train your team better and can help your team more. So stop saying that you got it all figured out, because you don't. My dad used to say, Alex, I forgot more about the car business than you'll ever know. And it is true. There's people out there who know so much more than us. Be humble. Managers, be humble. Don't tell your salespeople what you make a month. Don't tell them everything you're buying and show them your watch and your cars. Show them how to follow the process. Show them how to follow up. Show them how to prospect. Show them how to be better people. Give them mentorship on how to save money and how to have a better life at home. And mentor people. Care about people. Love on people. Stop being so damn selfish and put them in front of you. Worry about them more than you worry about yourself. Don't complain about your pay plan in front of your salespeople. That's the worst thing that you can ever do. Don't undermine other managers around you in front of your salespeople. That is terrible culture. Create a culture of fun, of training, of accountability, of all the things. Make sure that everyone is doing everything, every time, every day, okay, all the time, and then you'll win.
Yeah. Yo, listen, I'm gonna have my daggum person when we put the notes together. We're gonna put, like, I don't even know how many that was. It was like 10, 15, 20. We're gonna make a list, A-Flow, because that was fire, man. Absolutely.
No, this is beyond fire. So, Alex, now here's a unique question on the show, because we have a lot of dealer principals we interview, but some of them are hands off. Yeah, I mean, some of them are playing golf and delegate to GMs. You know how they are. So my next question is, speak to the dealer principals and owners. You know, as a dealer to a dealer, you know, what advice do you have to fellow, car dealers?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Attention auto dealers. You need an opportunity to do business. AutoWeb is one of the largest suppliers of high quality leads. I mean, high quality buyers. At a 10% closing ratio, you will be at less than $190 per car sold. Don't just settle for what you get. AutoWeb can fully customize your results through targeted markets and/or zip codes, and as a partner, you will get premium placement within search results. Who better to do that than literally the people that invented automotive internet sales? If you want to sell more cars more often and more profitably, then you need AutoWeb.
Stop leading with fear and lead with love, but without fear. And hold your people accountable. And don't get stuck with people that are hurting your dealership. Don't let anybody ruin your reputation. Don't let people run customers from your store. And only hire quality people. Take your time and get the right people. Get involved in your dealership. Get involved with your customers. Go out there and shake customers' hands and ask them what their experience is like. And the customers will tell you what your dealership is like when you're not there, 100% of the time. Make sure that you're involved in the trainings. Make sure that you're involved in the meetings. Make sure that they know that you're looking at things. Make sure that you know that you care about them. Love them, but also lead them. Lead them. Help them become better. Show them that you're the dealer principal, you're the owner for a reason, and that they can rely on you, they can depend on you, and that you're going to be there for them, but you're also going to make sure that they're doing their job. Stop being fancy. Don't sit in your office and answer emails all day. That is not how you run a dealership. Don't sit in your office and read the financials all day, because all you're doing is counting money. You'll eventually run out of money. You got to print money before you can make more money. That's all I got.
Don't be a bean counter.
Again, that's all I got. That's a plenty. That's plenty a lot. You know what's interesting is that, because you talk about faith and Christianity, right? Because I'm assuming because you're talking about the Bible. Have you heard of Truett Cathy?
Who?
Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A.
I think I have a couple times. Yes, sir.
Oh, listen, Alex, so I'm going to give you a little nugget. I love telling this story because I'm very well read and I've studied a lot of amazing, successful people, and somebody that's really inspired me, and it changed my business, changed Dealer Synergy, because I used to be a 30-car guy and I was manager and I was balling when I was on the front lines. And when I started my company, I didn't know anything about owning a business. I was just a manager, from the streets before that. And so I was on the car guy grind of getting, new sales, but I really didn't understand about having a back end and customer service. And then I came across, this is years after I had Dealer Synergy. We've been in business 17 years. So I'd say probably about 5 years in. So this is probably maybe like 9 years ago or something like that. I'm sorry, 12 years ago. So I heard about this guy, Truett Cathy, who is the founder of Chick-fil-A. And here's the story. And I've said it a couple of times in this podcast, but I'm going to tell it again. So Chick-fil-A was in battle, like combat battle with a Boston Chicken, which became Boston Market, of which chicken company is going to be the biggest chicken company. Who's going to become a $1 billion chicken company per year? $1 billion selling chicken. So Truett Cathy had his entire executive team buy him, right? And Alex, they're talking about what they're going to do to open more restaurants, to sell more chicken, to grow bigger. And they're going into this. And then the owner, Truett, couldn't take anymore. He slammed his fist on the table and said, "That's it." This is a true story, by the way. "That's it. No more. I don't want to hear any of you telling me how we're going to get bigger and sell more chicken and get more and have more restaurants. The only thing that I want you to tell me is how are we going to get better? I want to know every way we're going to get better, because if we get better, our audience will demand that we get bigger." And I'm going to repeat that because it changed my life. He said, again, Alex, he said, "I don't want to hear about how we're going to get bigger. I only want you to tell me how we're going to get better." Better at what, boss? Better at everything. About our recipe, about our process, about waiting, about customer service, about the way that we interact, our marketing efforts. I want to know how we get better, because if we get better, I am positive that the audience will demand we get bigger. And Alex, that changed my life at Dealer Synergy. And that's, one of the reasons why my company is blown up and it's at the level that we're at right now, is because we made internal changes and we started focusing on how we could get better. LA, you want to demonstrate to Alex how we start the morning every morning in our company?
Well, we got a chant, man. It's a bunch of different things that we do, but one specifically that I think Sean's talking about is our chant, where we go over our mission statement, right? And we say, we kind of do it like a call and response style. Our mission is to be obsessed.
Our mission is to be obsessed
with our dealer success.
With our dealer success.
Through our thoughts.
Through our thoughts.
Our words.
Our words.
And our actions.
And our actions.
So that they may triumph.
So they may triumph.
And achieve.
And achieve.
Total market domination.
Total market domination.
Everybody's like, woo, you know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. That's amazing.
So what are your thoughts about Truett Cathy's philosophy about focusing on getting better, not bigger?
Man, I live by that, Sean. That's my everyday thing. And every day, everybody that works for Alex knows that. Whether it's Colby, who is my platform director, or whether it's every closer that works for me, every manager that works for me. In fact, I'll be honest with you, Sean, people know that work for me, especially the higher they go up in rank. If I don't get better, I'm not going to work for Alex. That's just how it works. If I don't see progress, if I don't see you growing, if I don't see an improvement in you as time goes on, I know you've become complacent. I call it riding the wave. I came up with that saying. You probably never heard it before. You probably never will, because I invented that. It's called riding the wave. Don't come in here because I created a wave. My platform is a wave. It makes you better. It helps you learn things. It helps you see these deals that you would have never gotten approved anywhere else. Now you know how to get them approved. Now you know about pushing through a worksheet. Now you know about coaching offers. Now you know about how to train salespeople, how to have a proper sales meeting, how to have excitement and all these things. I don't want people to come in and just ride my wave. I want people to make the wave bigger. So if they're not growing and getting better, they're not going to be here with me. I got to see this. And I'm looking at you and I'm watching you and I'm seeing your results and I'm looking at your numbers and I'm seeing how you communicated, how are you doing? And I'm always going to be correcting you. I'm saying, hey, you know what? I saw you out there with a customer, buddy, but you know what? I really felt like you really handled that, and not in a very good way. Let me show you how you should have handled that. And you got to be able to be humble and be like, okay, boss, let me hear it. And I build the trust enough that they listen to me. I've shown them because I've gone out there and done it. I am a tourist guide, not a travel agent. I don't just tell you, I'm not sending you places I've never been to. I take you places where I've been before many times.
Yeah, powerful. LA, you got any closing questions?
No, I love that, man. So here's the thing, because there's so many things that I definitely want to ask. One of which is kind of because you talked about a lot of stuff that you go over in these 2 hours twice a week. And so what is the format? Do you just kind of randomly pick a subject? I mean, is there like a curriculum? How do you break that down? And then where do you get the information from? I want to know if there's like a specific book that you would recommend outside of the Bible, because I know we got that as one.
Yes.
But, what do you recommend for people to do?
It's all about mindset, and it's about paying attention to detail. That they say the devil's in the detail, LA. So we run this report that I told you. It's called the A-Flow report, and we have every department broken down. Like we have areas like we have tracking internet for the month, previous month new vehicle front PVR, used vehicle front PVR, effective labor rate, hours per hour, dollars per hour. We have appointments today, appointments set, appointments month today, appointments sold percentage, calls yesterday. How many calls did we make yesterday? I look at all that. Calls month to date. How many calls have we? And I'm talking everybody, everything, every time. And people know that. So if we have, it's like the Marines, no soldier left behind, no Marine left behind. We're not going to let anybody fail. And if we see somebody, kind of drifting a little bit, we're going to turn around and get them and say, come on, we're going to pick you up. And you're gonna do this, and it just creates that culture, LA. It creates that culture of accountability, that culture of mindset. Mindset's a book that I recommend for anybody out there that wants to do it. As far as the topics, I go over the process. If I feel like if we look at our numbers, let's say, and we're not making enough appointments, well, I'm gonna do a training on appointments for the salespeople, and then I'm gonna do a training for the managers about how do we inspect that our people are making appointments. What can we do to help them make appointments? What do I expect every manager? How many appointments should a manager make a day? How many desk guys do you have that sit at a desk at a dealership all day long? Right now, today, we're talking about thousands, if not, I don't know if it's millions, but thousands of managers that will sit at a desk today and talk about all kinds of stuff and not make one call to try to get an appointment in. It's happening every day in our dealerships, but not in my dealership. I'm not going to allow that.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Alex. This is the first time I've ever asked this question to a guest. Okay. So let me give you a little context. So I've owned Dealer Synergy for 17 years, 3,500 rooftops in 4 different countries. And we're about to go to Panama. You hear me? So we're about to hit our 5th country. And I've trained personally over 150,000 people. Now in 2021, for the last probably 2.5, almost 3 years, we've spent $0 in marketing advertising. I have 22 employees, 0 of them in sales. 100% of these businesses, like Norm Reeves Honda, the Coons organization, everybody that we work with comes to us. There's a point coming here. 26 covers of every major magazine for our successes, 14-time NADA convention speaker, blah, 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 blah. But even me, dealers pay me a shit ton of money, and some of them don't listen. They'll still pay me, but they won't listen. So I have a question for you on behalf of my company. I'm just curious, as a dealer, what do I do as a high level consultant or trainer with a team of people that truly care, that really love on our dealers, just like you say to, and they get disenchanted, my staff, sometimes because they try, but we can't care more than the dealers themselves. And you hit some of the things, you know what I mean? If the DP signs up, sometimes there's a situation where the GM doesn't, buy in or whatever. And so they half-assed do this. So the question is, how does my team, help dealers that sometimes are not willing to help themselves?
That's a great question, man.
That's why I asked.
and I have an answer for you because I do this, man. Sean, when I tell you I hold everybody accountable, I hold everybody accountable. I'm talking my media team, the people that do advertising for me, my vendors, everybody. And one thing I do with vendors, I always tell them this: do not come in my office because you're wasting my damn time to tell me how good I'm doing. Don't come in and tell me, oh, you're doing good with this. And you know what? Compared to other dealers, you're doing good. Don't come in and tell me that shit because you're wasting my damn time. Come in here and tell me where we're failing and be bold about it. Scream if you have to. Tell me, Alex, wake up. You're dropping the ball, brother. You want me to help you. And those are the vendors that I've had for a long time that have listened to me doing that. So my advice to you would be to be more bold and to not hold back. and people will appreciate that. That's called accountability, Sean. That is accountability at its best display. Because accountability is not like, hey, Mr. Dealer, I know you guys are busy, but I was just looking at your performance and you guys are not really doing this. And if you can you help? No, F that. Hey, brother, you like throwing money away? You like wasting money? You want to fail? You told me you wanted me to help you. You hired me to do a job, and I don't want to fail because of you not holding your people accountable. So I need your support. Or do I need to call somebody else that's going to help me hold people accountable? I mean, call their ass out like that, man. And that's how I would do it. And I promise you guys are not doing that because you got to keep it politically correct. You got to keep your tool fresh.
Alex, you've been spot on until that last comment. No, I'm fucking brutally. You don't know me, brother. I'm telling you right now.
No. Listen. Let me correct it because Sean is that way. But
correct.
The rest of the team feels like they may not be able to be that way because, first of all, they're not Sean.
But you're not making all the calls, Sean.
Right. No, that's true. But I want to let you know,
you asked me, because I'm strong too. I can go out there and shut everybody down. But can my team shut everybody down?
Very well put. That's a very good nugget.
So I can say, hey, I believe in customer service, and you don't even know me, Sean. I'm a customer service obsessed person. And I am. But is my team obsessed with customer service? It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I do because remember, Nick Saban says, or not Nick Saban, but Jacko Willis says, it's not what you teach, is what you tolerate. So I think building that confidence in our team to be like, guys, if we really want to follow through and deliver our mission, which by the way is freaking amazing, then we need to truly start holding our dealerships more accountable. We need to bombard them. We need to say, hey, listen, you got to listen to me because I'm trying to help you. I am trying to help you. You got to pay attention because you're dropping the ball and it's costing you a lot of money.
I love it. LA, he's right. Yeah, he's right.
Absolutely.
Like the issue is not with me or you or Karina. It's with the, the analyst or the performance coaches. They just need to take the,
and we have to give them quote unquote permission. We have to let them know you're not going to quote unquote get in trouble because, someone said, she was mean to me. That, but what I'm saying? Because
they just got to they got to just do it professionally and respectfully. Yes. But, again, you go to a doctor and the doctor tells you bad news all the time. Look, you got cancer. Or, look, you're obese because you keep shoving your face with Twinkies. Doctors tell you that. So again, these dealers are looking to us. We just need to just be relentless on their butts.
I can always tell when they come in, Sean, and they start like beating around the bush because they don't know me any better. That's like the first time they're in my office because I'll give this speech to everybody, Sean. I'll give this speech to General Motors. I said, don't come in here and go over the stuff that I'm doing good and tell me I'm number one in the region and I'm beating everybody. I don't want to hear that. Show me where I'm missing phone calls. Show me where we're not getting leads done. Show me because I want to hear the shit that is wrong, not the shit that is right. And what I would suggest you do, this is just my opinion, and I always tell people this. This is a line that I use all the time. I've been using it for years. Is I always ask people, let me ask you this before we start this conversation. Do you want me to tell you what you want to hear or what you need to hear?
Yeah.
I'll give you the choice.
That's it.
I'll give you the choice. If you want me to tell you what you want to hear, then we can make this very easy, and I'm going to tell you all the good things that you're doing. But if you want me to tell you what you need to hear and actually walk away with something good that is going to help you become better, then let me tell you what you need to hear, brother.
You know what? I'm actually going to implement that into all of my conversations because I do ask the question, hey, can I be straight with you? Hey, can I coach you really quickly? Hey, can I be real with you? I asked that question, but I think I'm going to start phrasing it the way you just did, Alex. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think it works best because people say, okay, fine. And they go in knowing that you're going to let them have it.
Right.
Say, exactly. I'm going to tell you what you need. What you need to hear is your team is failing. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. They're not following the process. They're not using the tool. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. And then don't just tell them the problem. Now, here's the solution.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Here's what I suggest. Mm-hmm. And I want to work together with you to get it to the next level. And I want to be there with you. I'm going to hold your hand the whole time if I have to. Eventually, you won't need me. But that's what we're here for. That's what I would do. Obviously, we do consulting as well, and that's one thing I do, man. I a lot of people that I talk to, I do an interview with them, and they say, "No, I don't want to be a part of this," because they know I'm gonna be on them, man. If you're not ready, then don't waste my time because I don't want you to run my reputation saying, "Oh, it didn't work. A-Flow couldn't help me." No, I could help you. You couldn't help yourself. How about that?
That's it.
Right.
I love it. This is some phenomenal stuff. So, Sean, it sounds like I know we're getting ready to close this doggone thing out. Alex, tell us in a closing statement, tell us what you love about the automotive industry and why this thing really stands out to you, and what your game plan is, because you got so much in front of you. You just said you're almost 50 years old, so you got so much standing in front of you. Tell us what you love about this thing, and just close us out with a bang.
You know what I love about the carbons is that it's always challenging. There's never a day that you don't go through something new. I love the challenge. I love the intensity. I love the excitement. I love the thrill of a close. I love training. I love teaching. I love seeing somebody like me, an immigrant who was a carpet cleaner, who sold cassettes in Mexico City, come into a business like this and have an opportunity, like Sean always talks about, of just changing
against all odds,
turning their life around completely, and be able to provide for their family in a way that they could have never even dreamed of. And to me, that's just amazing, especially for the people who are grateful, especially for the people who truly appreciate it, especially for the people that are humble and do something good with it. Because it's not how much you make, it's what you do with your money that really matters.
Absolutely phenomenal. So, listen, this is what we do. This is the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. And the thing that I love about podcasts is that it's like you're spending time with the people who are there, right? For me, there's not many. I'm outside of Clubhouse where you can go and that's live and everything like that. But at least with something like this, you can rewind, you can fast forward, you can, write down stuff. I mean, really kind of spend time with a person like they're your personal friend. And I always say it, that you are the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with. And you've just been spending time with L.A. Williams, the blind master, Mr. Alex Flores, a.k.a. A-Flow, and Mr. Sean V. Bradley, CSP. Listen, it's your turn. Go out there and be a millionaire car salesman. Everybody, talk to y'all later. Thanks. So there you have it, the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. This podcast comes to you every week from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you have a question about the show or would like the chance to become a guest, feel free to contact us directly at 856-546-2440 or email us at millionairecarsalesman@gmail.com. This program is a presentation of Synergy Records, produced by Tiana Mick and L.A. Williams. Production and engineering by L.A. Williams. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is hosted every week by L.A. Williams and the Millionaire Car Salesman himself, Sean V. Bradley. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast can be found everywhere, so please don't forget to review, subscribe to, and share the show. Thanks for listening to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and remember, where I'm from, money provides options. The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is sponsored in part by Dealer E-Process, VinQ, and AutoWeb, and Car Now. If you enjoyed this podcast, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave us a review. Let some other folks know about it. Oh, and don't forget to join the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. We'll see you there.